Hey guys, what's up? Cardfight here, and today I'm here with a Oracle Think Tank deck profile. So this is with the new Susanoo support from the Trinity Dragon Trinity Dragon character booster, and here is the deck profile I'm gonna do first for it because I've actually been playing testing for this deck for a few days, and actually today I got some help from another friend who playtested this deck with himself too, and I was analyzing on what kind of plays he made and what I can do to improve the deck. Since sometimes when I playtest by myself, sometimes I might overlook some things. So I playtested this deck myself, and I got somebody else to playtest it too. So um, got some opinions from him too, because Oracle Think Tank is sort of a clan that it's very hard to work with right now, since the support isn't super fantastic. So sometimes you have to think out of the box. So yeah, let's get right into the deck profile. So for the starting Vanguard, we're running the new starting Vanguard from the character booster. His name is Hikone. So he is the obviously he's a new starter, and he has the Oracle effect. So first effect is Generous Trick 1. Move this card into Soul, and then you can counter charge 1. And then he has a second effect, which is counterless 1. Move this card into Soul. If a if a card with the Oracle ability is placed in a Vanguard circle, if you have 4 or less cards in your hand, you may pay the cost and put this card into and draw a card. So there's 2 effects that you can choose to use for him. Either you can use the counter charging effect, or you can use the draw effect, which you might need if you want to trigger Oracle. So yeah, he's sort of versatile, and he does come in handy sometimes. So next we are running 4 of the new Susanoo. So this is the new Shard Break for Oracle Think Tank. His name is Spiritual Sword of Rough Deity, Susanoo. And what he does is Generous Break 2, Oracle. At the beginning of a ride phase, you can look at the top card of your deck and put it to the top or bottom. And the second effect is at the beginning of a ride phase, you can if you have a G Zone face-up card in G Zone with the name Amaterasu or Wakahime, which is the card from Fighter's Collection, you can soul charge 1. So you can choose which one you want to do first if you have both of them activated, since they do go in standby. So a lot of times you're just going to soul charge first, and then you can look at the top one to see what you stack. So they come up with the Stride Break skill, which is to Soul Blast 2. When a G unit starts off with this card, you may pay the cost. You do draw a card. So yeah, you can stack so that you can draw, which is alright. And yeah, overall, I guess it's like the combination of his effects makes it okay. And yeah, I don't really know much to say. I personally think I think he's one of the weaker Stride Breaks out of this set, but even then, I think he does have his uses. His Soul Charging does help with the Soul Blast, but the Soul Blast 2 is kind of not worth. You're gonna use it, but I think if it's Soul Blast 1, it'll be a lot better. But I don't know. It kind of makes it more fair, I guess, since you get a Soul Charge from him. Anyway, so you have to watch out how you use the Soul Blasts. Next, we're running 4 of the old Susanoo. No need to explain him, but I think either ride, even if you misride, I think he's a decent Vanguard to ride into. Since you do kind of last one to look at top 2 cards of your deck and add 1 to your hand and put the other one to the bottom. Not bad. It does cost kind of last, but what I've noticed a lot is during playtesting, by the end of the game, there's like still a lot of counterblast open. So another reason why I'm running a lot more of these counterblast heavy cards is to help, make the deck more counterblast efficient, to make it use more instead of having a lot of empty counterblast in the at the end. So next we're running 4 of the new support for Oracle Think Tech. I think this is actually one of the best cards we got in this set. He's not horrible. So he's his name is Ame no Oshiho. So his effect is Oracle. Kind of lost 1 when this card attacks. You can pay the cost. If you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add a card with the Oracle ability to your hand, and if you added a card with this card's effect, then this card gets plus 2,000 power until the end of turn. Or, yeah, during the turn, this card gets plus 2,000 power. And then the second ability is move this card into Soul. During your main phase, at the beginning of your main phase, if you have 4 less cards in your hand, you can pay the cost if you do draw a card. So his first skill is pretty useful. His second skill is useful sometimes, but yeah. So this card's very good because you can search for a card with Oracle, and there's a lot of Oracle cards in this deck now since the new set came out. So you can search for these if you want to re-ride into the correct Vanguard, or you can search for the new Perfect Guard. So yeah, you can also search for this bird. So this bird skill is Generic 1, Oracle. During your turn, this card gets plus 2,000 power, and new ability, when this card attack hits, you can counter charge 1, soul charge 1. So he applies a little pressure, and he's also a 11k attacker. It's not the most amazing card, but I'm going to work with what I have right now. Considering we don't have a lot of Oracle support, I think he's fine for what he is. The pressure he applies is okay. So, yeah. Next, we are running 4 of the old on boost counter loss 1 draw ones. So, yeah, as I said before, his effect is generic 1. Counter loss 1 when this card attacks the Vanguard while it's being boosted, you can draw a card. So, this card is actually very underwhelming, but sometimes if you can't fulfill the condition for Oracle, especially early game, if you have to guard against a lot of attacks early on, he does help refill your hand so you can activate Oracle, and he does help use up some of your counterblast early on if you need it. And yeah, he's mainly here so because he doesn't rely on Oracle. So a lot of times late game when you use a lot of your hand and you're just 1 card off from triggering Oracle, he does help with that. If you're like a few cards off, then that might be a bit harder, but you know, in events that you are just missing that one, he does help. He was a card I wasn't running before, but I realized that he does help, so I'm running him now. I'm not running the Glamour Breath clone because it does cause a Soul Blast, and I'd rather use my Soul Blast for something else, like Susanoo or the new Serpent thing. Alright, for grade 1s, we're running 4 Shride Fodders, so even though the new rare does help you Shride, if you don't have Oracle effect, especially at the beginning of your turn, you might not have 5, so it does help with the Shriding, because this deck does not do very well if you don't Shride. It applies for a lot of decks now, but you know, especially for this deck. And next, we are running 3 Precious Ophidian. So he's the other Stride guy, Stride support for the deck. Skill is Generic 1 Oracle. Retire this unit at the beginning of your ride phase. You can pay the cost. If you do, you can Stride without paying the cost for Stride. And then the second ability is Soul Loss 1 when this card is placed on the Vanguard circle. If you have Oracle Vanguard, you can pay the cost if you do draw a card. So it's actually his second ability is the main reason why you run this card, not because of the first ability. Him being a Soul Blast 1 to draw a card is basically a better version of I think his name is Luckbird. But you do require a Oracle Vanguard, so you might not be able to always use it, but it's good enough. So yeah, I'm running one of those. Especially if you're running early game, if you ride into these, you can still use it because his second skill is not Generation Break restricted. And yeah, his 6k is you know obviously better than Luckbird's 5k. Next, we're running 3 Kumano Kusabi. So he's the new Oracle support for the deck, and his skill is kind of lost 1. Or he has Oracle ability. Kind of lost 1. If this card boosts during the battle that this card hits, you can pay the cost. If you do, look at the top 5 cards of your deck and add a card with Oracle in its ability and add it to your hand, and put the rest of the bottom of your deck in any order. And if you add a card to your hand, this card moves into the soul. So he's not great, but early game you can search for other Oracle support you want to use for later game. So his ability is not generation restricted, so you can, trigger his ability early on. And he's 7k, so that's fine. And he has the Oracle ability, so he's searchable by this guy. And that's not much else to say about him. I rarely use his ability, but it's fine. More targets for this guy is always good. Next, running 4 Pro Guards. Mainly running this so because you can search it with this guy. His own ability is actually kind of meh. So his ability is, so he has a Perfect Guard ability, but he doesn't key flip. His Gentric effect is activates in the drop zone. Gentric 1, Oracle, kind of lost 1. At the end of turn, you may pay the cost. If you do, add this card to your hand, and then your opponent, or you choose a random card in your hand and bind it. So in order to make it fair for your opponent, I usually let my opponent choose a random card in my hand to bind it. I think that's what a lot of people in my locals do, because if you do it yourself and just go, you might rig it sometimes, and your opponent might not like it. So I just let my opponent bind it. But basically, if you add this card to your hand during your end phase, you have a chance for him to still get bind. So you basically wait this counter blast for no reason. So it kind of makes him a little meh. If he bounces to your hand after you randomly bind one, I think he'll be a bit better. But I'm gonna work with what we have right now. It's not absolutely horrible. The chances of him bouncing to your hand, the chances of your opponent picking him is actually not super high. But if they pick something else very useful from your hand, then it might hinder your plays. But I don't know. Again, I'm gonna work with what we have. I'm just happy that Oracle got support at all. Yeah. So trigger lineup running 12 crit. All right. There's 4 here. I'm running this Battle Sister crit because you'll find out later on why. But I did try the stand before, but I rarely use the effect. And even when my friend was playtesting it, he also rarely used the effect, because it's a solid minus for Tom ability, and Tom abilities aren't as good now with the existence of G guards. So rather just run more crits to increase my chances of killing my opponent early on, as well as them no guarding my combo Susanoo plays. Alright, so let's move on to the... Oh, and we're running 4 heals. That's Lost Energy Megas. You can run anything else, but Lost Energy Megas does help you... Does go back in the deck so that if you're running low on deck, she does help sometimes. It doesn't help super much. It doesn't help a lot, but, it does help a bit. So let's move on to the G zone. So we're running 2 Combo Susanoo. The new Stride for Oracle Think Tank. It's the GR. Skill is Gentric 2. Oracle. This card gets plus 5,000 power and extra critical. And the second ability is Gentric 2, kind of lost 2. When this card is placed on a Vanguard circle, if you have 4 less cards in your hand, you can pay the cost. If you do, draw until you have 5 cards in your hand. So he's kind of underwhelming, but I don't really know what to say. He does have his uses. His extra critical does make him a lot better than what he would have been without the extra critical. And overall, I think he's a nice addition to the deck, especially if you're playing a deck that playing against a deck that is very good at chipping out hand, and you have like if you have like a chip you down to only one card left in hand and you have Stride Fighter and you stride it, and then you keep drawing, then it can be a very good card. But even then, after you activate this effect, if you have cards that you need to play, you'll still not have the Oracle ability left. So, kind of makes it a bit eh. I think if he lets you draw a solid amount of cards, like kind of wants to draw 3 or something, it would be a lot better. But I don't know. I think it's fine for what it is. But again, I'm gonna say it again. Work with what we have. He's okay. Next, running 2 Takemikazuchi. In case you have nothing else. He's just an option here in case you have nothing else to stride. So if you guys don't remember what he does, it's kind of lost 2. Look at top 4 cards of your deck. Add 2 of them to your hand and put the other 2 to the bottom of your deck in any order. And this ability can only be used once. So it's kind of last 2 in the J flip. So it's a very expensive card, but sometimes when you have too many cards in your hand and you don't want to stride into something else, then he isn't always an option, especially if you have open Counterblast. And next we're running 4 of the other Susanoo. So he's the old one from the other set. So he has 2 abilities. G flip himself, and then he gets he gains 2 abilities. So the first ability he gets is when this attack hits a Vanguard, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and then you can add 1 to your hand and put the other one to the bottom of your deck. So it's pretty much the first stride break skill, except it's on hit. And then the second ability is Generic 3. During your turn, all your units get plus 2,000 power. So he helps you fix some numbers if you need it. Yeah, you can use him as your first stride, but there's another card that I'm actually running for my first stride. Running 1 Battle Sister. So this is the Battle Sister from the extra booster. The main reason I'm running this is because she helps you G flip. Helps you G flip one of these, and you need this to trigger his second ability, which you need a Wakure Hime or a Amaterasu. And the slow charging is pretty important, so you want to flip it. The reason why we're not running this instead of running this, because this has an Oracle requirement, and if you're using it as a first stride, you might not have that requirement. So then if that happens, this card becomes a vanilla, and you can't activate her ability. So yeah, we're running this instead because it's a guaranteed flip. And she doesn't actually require you to have a Battle Sister Heart. But her ability is G flip 1 card. During this turn, this card gets a new ability, and that's on the Vanguard server, kind of lost 1. Whenever a Battle Sister unit hits, you can pay the cost to draw a card. So it's a kind of lost 1 to draw a card. And the second ability is not really important in this deck, but it's GB3 Oracle. For every card you have in your hand, your front row Battle Sisters get plus 1,000 power. So mainly we're here for the first her cost, and her second ability is, or her other ability is okay. The on hit one to draw 1. We don't run any other Battle Sisters in this deck, so you're probably only going to count loss 1 to draw 1 if you are planning to use it. But yeah, it's kind of underwhelming. But unless we get something else better, then I'm gonna stick with her. And she works with the She works with the Battle Sister trigger. This one does require Oracle. Oracle, but it's fine since you do get the counter charge too if you need it. So sometimes that helps. In very tight situations where you're running out of counterblasts in the rare events that you do, you can do it. So running 1 of those, and running 3 Wakure Hime, since one of them is made to be flipped for her ability. Running 3. If you really want, you can take one of these out to run 1 more, but since her ability is GB2, you might not be able to get your early soul charges in with your Susanoo. So running the Battle Sister instead. Honestly, if you don't want to run this, you can just go ahead and run this. But I'm warning you, sometimes you might not be able to get her effect for the first try. So next we're running 2 Amaterasu G guards. So this is actually a very amazing G guard. She's like one of my favorite cards for OTTs in this set. Ability is when it's just placed on a Guardian Circle, if you have 4 or more cards in your hand, this card gets plus 10k shield. And the second ability is when it's just placed on a Guardian Circle, you can soul charge 1, and then you can look at the top card of your deck and put it in either in the top or bottom. So you can kind of prepare for your next damage check. It's pretty decent. And running 2 of the Fighters Collection G Guard, where you it gets plus 5,000 power if you plus 5,000 shield if you have 3 or more cards in your hand. So, alright, so if you use this card as a G Guard, then you don't have to worry about not having a Amaterasu or a Wakurihime for your Susanoo. But if you don't G Guard, if you don't have a G Guard, then you're going to need to rely on your Battle Sister to flip a Wakurihime to do her thing. And even if you flipped your Amaterasu, you can still, if you're running out low on counterblast, you can still stride into your Battle Sister and combo it with a trigger so that you do get the counter charge. So, you know, just trying to justify my reason of running this Battle Sister if people think it's weird. Alright, and that's pretty much it for, that's pretty much it for the G-Zone 2. So that's pretty much it for this deck profile. Overall, my thoughts on this deck is that it's not the best support. Well, I can't. For Oracle, they don't have a lot of support, so any support is good support. But I was looking for something better when the set came out. There's definitely a lot of very good cards that the deck got, like Amaterasu. Where is it? Grade 2. Alright, this card's good too. And these cards. So from the new set, I think these 3 cards are like the best cards that the clan got, or at least for Oracle support. Battle Sister support was actually pretty good. I'm gonna make a Battle Sister deck pretty soon, since I actually think that deck is actually sort of better than this build. But yeah, if Oracle releases more cards that are similar to these, then I'll be very happy. But yeah, it's a step in the right direction. Overall, I'm pretty satisfied. Some of the cards that released, they could have been better, like him, or where is it? Or frick, this. Some of this, like this card could have been like what's the name of the card that Kagero got? The Blaze one. Could have been that. He could have not gotten the soul, but it's fine. And this could have binded after or before. I mean, he could have returned your hand before he got binded, but I don't know. I sound very negative, but I'm actually very happy about the support they got. So, yeah. So yeah, Oracle Think Tank. Looking forward to more support. Hopefully we get better support. The deck is still a little underwhelming, but it's fine. It's a pretty fun deck to play. Just don't expect it to do super mega well against some of the other decks out there. Yeah. So this deck can plus, but I think like the problem is, I think I'm gonna make a separate video about how to improve Oracle Think Tank, but overall, I just don't think they have enough power, like raw power and amount of attacks. since almost all the other good decks now have either very big numbers or multiple attacks or something, or like field control. And Opposing Tank lets you draw cards, but that's sort of it right now. I guess you can search for stuff, and I don't know. I don't really know how to. I don't really know how to say it, but probably more more experienced Oracle Think Tank players can give their opinions on this too. What do you guys think about the support that we got in the set? Maybe I'm just being a little negative, but anyway, I liked some of the support. A lot of other support could have been better, but yeah. Anyway, this is Kardaku, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!